Everybody, I'm going to go over the homework for the answers for homework number 12. In this video, I'm going to do all the answers for part A, and I'll have a separate video for part B and part C. I've gone ahead and just filled in the initials for each of the terms. If you have a different initial that you're using, that's okay. Just make sure you're consistent throughout. And then I've already labeled the Venn diagram, so start with the two-circle conclusion Venn diagram. Subject on the left, predicate on the right, subject on the left, predicate on the right. And then transfer that over to the three-circle Venn diagram and put your middle term, which is D in this one, down there in the middle. All right, let's get started. So all D are F. We're going to eliminate the space that's not part of F. All L are D. Likewise, we're going to eliminate this space here. And then we go to the two-circle Venn diagram for the conclusion to see if it's giving us the information that we're asking for. All L are F. So we're going to eliminate this area over here. And we look over here and see if all the information that this is giving us is that this area right here is shaded in. And if we look at the three-circle Venn diagram, that indeed is shaded in. It's okay if we have other things shaded in or X's in other places, as long as the information that we're looking for here is given to us over here, it is valid. All right, second one, no C or O. So we're gonna eliminate this football-shaped area between C and O. Some O are Y. So this is the only space that's left. This is why we always do, with the premises, we always do the universals first. So always do all or no before you do some, if you can. Because we would have had a fence straddling X if we did the sum first. But since we did the no, it already eliminates this area right here in the middle. So the only space left to put the X is right there. And then we check and see if the information in the conclusion, we've already been given that information. Some Y are not C, so the X goes over on the left. And just like the first one, what we're looking for is the only information that's given to us in the conclusion is that there is an X in this area right here. So I know that it gets a little confusing with the three-circle Venn diagrams, but we're just looking for an X in this area somewhere. Doesn't matter if it's over here, doesn't matter if it's over here, but as long as it's in that pie, it is valid. All right, let's go to the next one. All C are F. X on this area at the bottom. Some N are C. So we have this circle N, this circle C, and it says that somewhere there's an X where those overlap. This is the only area that's given to us. So some N are F is the conclusion. X right there in the middle. And just like we saw in the last one, the information that's given to us in the conclusion is that there is an X in that football shape in the middle. So all we're looking for, again, don't worry about the C in the three-circle Venn diagram. Don't worry about the middle term. Just kind of like eliminate that circle out of your head. And we're just looking to see if there's an X in that area right there, and there is. So that also is valid, not a balance. So next one, all R are E. So we eliminate, shade out this area here. Some P are not E. So we're looking at this circle P. There's an X somewhere outside of here. We know this part has already been shaded out, so the X goes over here. And then our conclusion on the two-circle Venn diagram, some P are not R, so an X goes over on the left. Again, we're looking for an X somewhere in this area. Can be area anywhere, could be down here, could be up there, but we do have an X on the left, so that also is valid. Next one, some S or Y. Actually, this is a good one. So we have a particular on top, we have a universal on the bottom. Let's go ahead and do the universal first, because it'll eliminate, we won't have to do a fence straddling X, hopefully. So all D are S, eliminate this area here. And then some S are Y, so there's some overlap between S and Y. We did actually end up having to do a fence straddling X. Sometimes that'll happen. Then we go over to the two-circle Venn diagram. Some D are Y. There's an X here. So this is kind of ambiguous. This is the reason why we do the fence straddling X, because it's trying to tell us, or the information we're looking for is an X right there in that football shape in the middle. So we go over here and look to see if there's an X there. But we don't actually, we know that there's an X in this football, but we don't actually know if it's here or if it's here. For something to be valid, it has to be telling us for certain that there's an X in the certain area that they're asking. But we don't know if it's in this side of the football or this side of the football. So we're going to call this one, or this one is, pardon my writing, invalid. Let's go on to the next three. No C or P. So eliminate the crossover there. Some C are H. There's an X in this area here. And the two-circle Venn diagram for the conclusion, some H are P. So there's an X there in the middle. X in the middle, no X in the middle. This also is invalid. All right, next one, all B are O. Make that area. Some O are I. So we have another fence straddling X. So we don't know if the X is in this side of the football or this side of the football. And then two-circle Venn diagram for the conclusion. Some I are B. So we have an X in the middle. And again, just like the last one, it's telling us that we have an X in the middle of I and B. And we don't know for certain if the X is on this side, which would be yes, or the X is on this side, which would be no. And if we're not absolutely certain, then we have to call it invalid. Next one is some H are not D. Actually, we have two particulars here, so just go ahead and do them in order. Some H are not D. So we have a fence straddling X down here. So it could be in this section, could be in this section. Some H are F. Oops. Made a mistake there. I was looking at it wrong. So some H are not, oh no, I had it, sorry. Some H are not D. Some H are F. So we actually have two kind of crossover fence straddling X's. So we know that there's two X's. We're not sure if this one is over here or over here. We also have an X outside of D, but we're not sure if it's over here or over here. So let's go ahead into the conclusion. It says some F are not D. So what this is trying to tell us is that there's an X in F outside of D. So what we're looking for over here is if it's giving us that information. But we know that there's two X's. But it's possible that we have an X over here and an X over here and no X in the middle, which would make it invalid. It's possible, but for an argument to be valid, we have to know for absolute certain. So if you have any questions, just shoot me a message in Canvas.